So Jamari was diagnosed with asthma when he was about 4, and he was hospitalized a few times in elementary school because his asthma just sort of got out of control. And when he was 7, he was hospitalized for a week at Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, which is one of the best hospitals in the world. And it was finally then that we sort of got a real handle on his asthma, and he would go to Sick Kids biannually for a checkup and to meet with the asthma doctors and the respirologists. And we had a really good control over it through those years. And then in high school, he went to a performing arts school, so he was very active in dancing and singing. And he had a couple of attacks, and they weren't too severe. Like we would go to the hospital for a couple of hours, and he'd get a nebulizer, and then we'd be home again. And it was sort of between 2020 and 2024 when he aged out of the pediatric care at Sick Kids Hospital and was left to, adult care. And it was just really hard for him to sort of get a handle on it. And at that same time, his asthma was changing. So it was a little bit of a struggle, and he was seeing a respirologist and was on new medications just before he had his severe asthma attack. So on May 29th, 2024, he called me. He was at a friend's house, and he called me and told me he wasn't feeling good, and he was gonna head home, which is probably about an hour and a half ride via public transit. And I was like, he had been sick the week prior, so I was like, maybe you should find a hospital and go instead of coming all the way home first. And fortunately, his friend lived, I think, probably 5, 10 minutes away from a hospital. So he went to that hospital and was admitted within minutes. And then his condition just deteriorated rapidly. And I got a call from the doctor at the hospital that he had been intubated and that I needed to make my way there. So I went to the hospital, and they had been working on, chest compressions and getting him to breathe. And they had gotten a team from Toronto General Hospital to come up. And they put him on a life support machine, which would take the blood out of his body and oxygenate it and pump it back in. And they did that, and he was on life support and was transferred to the Toronto General Hospital, and they were monitoring him. And they noticed that, being put on the life support machine and the cardiac arrests had perhaps caused a brain bleed, and they were monitoring that. And over the next few days, the brain bleed got more severe, and on June the 1st, he was transferred to Western Hospital for an emergency craniotomy where he had the blood in his brain, taken out, and he did that whole surgery on life support, which is, a feat in and of itself. But the surgery was meant to last 4 hours, and it went about 8 hours, and he was recovering well. And they ended up finding out that the brain bleed had caused him to have a stroke. And so after they took him off life support, about a week later, he was recovering. He was sent to the stroke rehab, and he went through stroke rehab for about a month and was doing good. He had a little bit of issues with his speech and walking, but he was a trooper, and he kept his gregarious attitude the whole time. So on July the 18th of 2024, he was discharged from the hospital, and I brought him home, and it was nice to have him back. And we spent a lot of time watching TV and movies and eating burgers, which he loved. And about 2, 3 weeks from him being home, he started to have focal seizures, and I brought him back to the hospital 4 days after his birthday on August the 15th. And his situation just started to deteriorate so rapidly. And he ended up being put into a medically induced coma and was transferred again back to Western. And they diagnosed him with an anti-NMDA receptor encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain. And they started his treatment, but it had just progressed too far. And so on August 28th, they called me and told me that he had had a cardiac arrest. And so I rushed down there and they were working on him for quite a long time, but his little body had just been through so much already. And he unfortunately passed away on August the 29th.